Okay, guys, so I'm so excited to tell you guys about Kathy Harbin's $1,600 glamour party. And she's had she's had a previous $1,600 party, and it was with this same group of women, but it was our skincare class. And of course, you guys know, you have 10 people when we're showing what we show and we have our closing sheet, we're going to sell a lot of product. And so that very first party, we sold, skincare and supplements. Then we booked them, and out of the 10, 7 came back for the glamour. And if you've ever done glamour with that many people, you know it can get hectic. And so I had previously I did another glamour party for Kathy from another booking, and I think we had, oh gosh, we had a lot of people, and it was a lot, and the sales were lower. And to be honest with you, I'm in the field just like you guys. My sales for glamour are never matched with my skincare, and so I'm always trying to tweak what I do to kind of get that per face average up, because hey, time is money. So I really thought through what I've been doing, and here's what I want you to know. I'm not really ever going to give you a new idea, okay? That's, I'm going to give you some tips to tweak your presentation, but I'm pretty much black and white. This is what we do. We don't stray from it. We can tweak it, we can make it better, but I'm not a director that's going to confuse you with new ideas. And I know there are a lot of them out there that do that. So you guys know that when I teach you to go in there and when you're working your strategy for your per face, I'm always going to say we want to average $150 per face no matter what. So when you go to that glamour appointment, you've got to really strategize what you're showing. That means that you've got to know what you showed at that first skincare presentation. And so knowing your presentation from that skincare, knowing what they didn't see, and what you've got to work on building this flawless face and to get that average up is very important, so that you stick to your guns. And you guys know that that's when I just stick to my guns. So we're going to talk in a minute about follow up, how important it is to follow up to get these bookings. But what we did Friday night, granted, you guys saw my Voxer. We did have a police escort because we got lost. I was on the wrong road. Alabama doesn't have road names. They have county roads. I was on the wrong county road, and I was pulled over, a policeman, and I said, I can't find this house. And he goes, I said, is this county road 266? And he goes, no, it's 226. And he literally escorted me to this house. It was so funny. Anyway, back to the what we showed. So everybody came ready. And if they didn't, I used the eye makeup remover. I took their eye makeup off really quickly, and we went ahead and cleaned the face. Just, even though most of them were on the Voluform set, we just cleaned with Time Wise. I didn't do any of the presentation stuff because they already knew it. They already had their skincare. But I needed something to keep it in front of them. And I had printed off this tic-tac-toe paper just out of Google. Just Google tic-tac-toe board. It was plain, printed off 12 sheets because I wasn't really sure how many guests were going to be there. And instead of profile cards, we didn't need those because they had already filled out their profile cards. I laid the tic-tac-toe in front of everybody. Everybody had a pen, and we played the tic-tac-toe game that we play, at all of our virtual parties. And every time we did a product, they wrote down what if they liked it, and they were going to try to get tic-tac-toe, vertical, horizontal, up the middle, whatever. And the first 2 to tic-tac-toe got a prize. Always give away 3 prizes, and the first to get all 9 squares with product got a prize. Okay. So that simple tic-tac-toe board kept the products in front of them. And they used it as their closing sheet, believe it or not. They literally came to the closing, I had them come to the closing table with their tic-tac-toe board, and everything was circled, okay? I didn't have to give anything away for free. I didn't have to really show them any sets. They just had it all listed, okay? The only set that I showed was what I call my foundation set, which is featured on my closing sheet. So I didn't have to have a new closing sheet. I didn't have to have, hang on. Yes, didn't have to have a new closing sheet. Didn't have to have anything laminated. I just printed out a tic-tac-toe board, keeping it simple, keeping it to where you are duplicatable and that they can see it, you know, if especially when it comes to recruiting, if the women there can see how easy it is, they want to do it. In fact, one of the ladies there, her daughter wants, she's been telling her daughter and granddaughter about it. So we're going to talk to them. They haven't even come to any of the parties. But she saw the consistency, she saw how it was easy, and she passed it on. And so that is one of your goals is, you know, you make your job always look easy. So they came to the table, closing table, with their tic-tac-toe board with everything circled. Now, averaging that $100 a face. So here's what, with this particular party, and really all my parties that I do, you guys know what I show. Here's what I don't show, okay? So you guys know what I show. I show the Miracle Set or the Voluform Set. Supplements is Serum C, toning lotion, hydro patches, charcoal mask, facial peel. The supplements that I don't show, and I hold them and wait to show them at that second appointment, is Microderm, wrinkle filler. Those are big ticket home runs, okay? And so that's what we started with. After we cleansed, we did the Microderm, and then we did the step 2, okay? And then we did the wrinkle filler. Everybody put those on their list. So you add those 55 and 48, they were already over $100 each right there. And then I did back to the only set that I showed was the foundation set, which was for $75. They get their choice of foundation, a powder, a brush of their choice, and the primer, okay? But what I also upsold them all on was, you're getting the mineral powder, you have to have the kabuki brush. But they all got to try, and I had my brush cleaner, and I have several demo foundation brushes, blending brush, and the liquid brush. So I upsold them on top of that $75 foundation set. I upsold them each on a second brush, the liquid brush or the blending brush. They were all going to get the mineral powder brush. So now you're adding 75 on top of your the $55 Microderm and the $48 wrinkle filler, and then you're adding that second $16 or $14 brush. So you can see why this party was going up from there. Now from that point, so we have the foundation on, we did under eye corrector, we did concealer, and how I did the concealer, I did it as a contour, a busy mom's makeover, because these were older women like me. And I demoed right here with my concealer, and it erases the shadowing. It literally gives you like an instant facelift. And so we did it here, we did the triangle, we did the palm tree, we did above the brows. Went around and did that on everybody. And then we went over it with the mineral powder. Then we did the only eyeshadow that we did, because I really wanted to focus on getting their foundations right and their powder right. Because eyeshadow is eyeshadow, y'all. It's $8, and our regular eyeshadow, the Chroma Fusion eyeshadow, lasts forever. And so, you know, that can anybody can buy that. They can look through the book and buy that. And so I focused on the liquid. Even though these were older women, we called it the dash out the door look, and that's what they all wanted, was a simple summer dash out the door. And so I had the 4 liquid eyeshadows, and I let them choose. They loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. And so they each, I think most of them bought 2 each. Then we did cheeks. I let them go around and pick a lipstick and a lip gloss, and then we did mascara, and we finish it with finishing spray. And so, as you can tell, the big ticket items came from the top and it went down. But, knowing what I did at that first party and knowing what they were missing is what we filled it in. And that's what I've always talked to you guys about, is increasing that ticket head to toe Mary Kay. And so now they have all the supplements. They have a complete foundation set. They have their skincare and they have their skincare and advanced supplements. And now they have some color. They have the under eye corrector if they needed it, or concealer, and they bought lipsticks. I mean, it was just a really amazing full circle party. And so knowing that, let me go back to some of my notes so that we cover this. Keeping the products in front of them with that tic-tac-toe board so that they could literally see what they wrote was the key, because I think the party before this that I did basically the same thing, let's be real, and it was just a hot mess. And you guys know it always is when there's a lot of people. A lot of times when you do these glamour parties, it ends up being one-on-one, and that's okay. You don't have to play tic-tac-toe one-on-one, because you are giving that one person all your attention. There's not a lot of chatter. There's no distractions. She can focus. All the products are right there. So when I'm doing advanced glamour one-on-one, my sales are high per face. They're anywhere from $250 to $500. My highest facial was, I think, $560. But that's one person. So I didn't need, a tool like this tic-tac-toe board. But when we did the last party before we used the tic-tac-toe, we did have, 10 people there doing glamour. I think we only sold $300 total. And that was my method and my madness. Like, I've got to increase this when it comes to this glamour so that it's not so confusing, because there are a lot of glamour closing sheets out there, and they're just too confusing, and I wanted to simplify it. And simple is the way to go, okay? And so that was the million. It was a home run with this tic-tac-toe board. So having that game, kept it in front of them. Like I said, it was their closing sheet, and it was their own notes for themselves. I even used the tic-tac-toe paper to write their colors down. So when they came to the closing, it wasn't something I had to remember, because you guys know it gets really confusing when you're doing it was 3D foundation. It wasn't CC cream, and it was already there. So we just wrote it out as their foundation set. We had all their colors. Another thing, we talked about with 1 or 2 people, you don't need to play the tic-tac-toe. To go through the products, they fill in the boxes. It becomes your closing sheet, and they bring it to the closing. I just showed you what I talked about, what I showed, which is probably no different than you've shown, but it's keeping everything in front of them. I found the tic-tac-toe board, like I said, from Google, so that was very simple, and it was just a regular sheet. So when you're doing this, I want to talk about the follow-up from your, because I've done parties for everybody. You guys know it, and a lot of you have everybody books. Everybody books either me and one-on-one, or they book a party. But I'm not sure how many hold. And so what I want to talk about is the follow-up. Okay. The follow-up of those appointments is key. And just being persistent, figuring out, what gets them excited, and just really being persistent until they just say, I'm not interested. Okay. Because you can get all these bookings if you'll just be really great and work on your skill of following up. National Sales Director Linda Tupin retired last year, and she told us that she and National Sales Director Lisa Madsen came into Mary Kay about the same time. They were brand new consultants, and they became nationals the same year. But when you're national and at seminar, every time you hit a new $1 million mark, they give you a new plaque. Well, over all these years, if you've ever been to seminar as many times as I have, you'll notice that Lisa Madsen is always $3 million ahead of Linda Tupin, even though their careers followed almost the exact same path. Linda Tupin said that the difference between she and Lisa Madsen was that Lisa Madsen was a master at following up, that she took herself out of the field at least one day a week. Now, she didn't work every day, but one of her work days was a day of follow up. Okay, so that was a day of booking appointments, booking facials, booking those, the interviews when people say they're interested. She worked really hard in her office one day a week booking. And that made a $3 million difference between she and Linda Tupin. And so I've heard her talk about this for years, and seeing what we now can do when we just perfect our presentation and we really kind of hone in on what our customers are seeing, and simplifying that glamour class, but really showing them some powerful products to create that flawless face. If we can really just get those bookings, you're gonna be that Lisa Madsen that is $3 million ahead of everybody else, because you got it figured out. And that's all that this business is about, is sticking to your guns, knowing what you're going to show at that skincare class and not veering from it, always making sure that your closing sheet matches that. And I know you guys that come from my area, you do that. Our closing sheet matches exactly what we show. But what we've got now is what we're showing at this glamour appointment, and making sure that we're going there. And our goal is to always average 150 per face, okay? And keeping the products in front of your customer at that appointment, when it can get distracting and it can get chaotic, and that you are just following your steps, knowing your stuff, and keeping it simple so it's not confusing, because we know a confused mind does nothing. Okay. And so we knew that, but we just had to I had to figure out how to get this, to simplify this glamour appointment. Okay. And we did. I'm so happy. And it all came from this COVID nightmare that we're in, that we figured out a way to do virtual. And I'm like, this tic-tac-toe game was how we kept people, kind of plugged in virtually. And it's like, oh, I'm going to do that at my party. And oh my gosh, it was wonderful. So Kathy, you were the recipient of this wonderful party that was thank God for the tic-tac-toe game. Can you talk a little bit about it? Because you were there and witnessing it.
Well, I think the tic-tac-toe really made a difference, because it helped me. It helped us, especially toward the closing, because we made such a list and they were so excited about everything. Yeah. And then, and so you had 9 products almost on the box there that they really wanted. And
Yes.
that just helped so much, I believe, because, and I think they were hungry for it too, which was great.
Yes.
And, it was really amazing to see them. And then, oh yes, I want this. And oh yes, give me one of those, so it was, but the tic-tac-toe was awesome. I really, really like that. And I think that, to me, that helps even us organize ourselves. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
I put that sheet on the back of my closing sheet, so then I kept their own handwritten list with me, so made a difference. So
Yes, that's what I told them, and that we were able to write their colors down on it.
yeah,
Because when you're at that second appointment, they've already created a profile card. And if you didn't bring it, I don't like taking my profile cards out of the house because I don't want to lose them.
yeah,
But it was perfect, like she said, and now she's got that. What I was going to say something else. Kathy, and I don't know if you got on when I was talking about this, but you and I had done another glamour appointment that wasn't quite as successful.
oh no, it was terrible.
And that was my brainchild of like, okay, we've got to fix this, because that
Yeah,
you don't ever want to turn people away. I mean, if you can get 10 people to a glamour party, you don't want to say, oh, we can't have any more come.
yeah,
But like we did, we figured it out, and like, okay, how are we going to fix this when we do have a lot of people? It's a good problem to have. It was a
it,
really good problem. And hey, we stepped back, we punted, and we scored a touchdown. Okay, so I want
it
to,
was great.
yes. So let me stop the recording. Just, well, you know what? Maybe everybody that's going to watch this, maybe you can ask the question that might help the people that are going to watch it later. Um, so does anybody have any questions? Natalie, do you have any questions, or Erica?
When they're doing the tic-tac-toe, they are supposed to write down the products that they really like and they want. Is basically it, nothing more than that, or?
I just said exactly what I say at the virtual. If you liked it, you're impressed with it, or you're like, I want it, write it down. So that way they didn't feel like they didn't feel pressured into saying, oh, well, you wrote it down, you've got to buy it. It was a game.
Right.
And they all look so beautiful. You guys know how wonderful our products look. And because they had been using the skincare and the supplements for a month,
Right.
their skin, like the hostess, her skin was amazing.
Oh yeah.
The transformation is so exciting to see people loving the product. And like Kathy said, they were hungry for it. It's like to finally find something that works. And
Yeah.
And now moving on to the next phase of it, the glamour, the extra, so they're like, when's the next party? What else you got?
Wait for our fall collection.
Yeah. Like body, spa. Like there was a really good pool there. I thought maybe I should hit him up for a spa night by candlelight by the pool,
Oh, that was that. And
Go
they
ahead.
used a ton. I have sold a ton of that Time-Wise lotion. I can keep that stuff on the shelf. It's amazing.
Yeah. I think they were even reordering it. That was
they did.
When you leave a party and you're exhausted from selling, that's a great party. I was like, oh.
It is. It was.
Yes. And we had a new consultant there. She's turning 18 in September. Her mom is a consultant, and she wanted to come with me. And every time, so she was sitting like behind the guest, and I would say, here's your total. And she could see the total. And Lily's eyes were like, they were like the size of quarters. Like, oh, well, every time somebody like, it was great. It was a fantastic night.
Some of them actually ran out of lines. I mean, they had so many products, we ran out of lines on the order sheet. It was crazy. So.
Yes. We had stuff up where the address goes.
It was great. It was great.
Yes. So I hope what this does is get you excited about going back through those referral lists, those green cards that we always play, that everybody always says, me, me, me. Okay. And getting them, especially with the new fall products coming out. Okay. If you did not, and I'm saying this for everybody that's listening, that's going to listen to the recording. If you didn't do the fall PCP, that's where the company mails the lookbooks to your customers. If you missed that, this is the time of year where they're going to be back-to-back mailings because of fall, holiday, and winter. Okay, I'm going to give you some dates. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave this on Voxer tomorrow too. Anybody that I've ever had in my unit that doesn't seem to have a great reorder business, it's because they don't do the preferred customer program. They don't get that book. The company is mailing the book to your customers for 70 cents a name. Okay, and it's usually now it's 5 times a year because we have a holiday book in there. So you're going to start seeing the holiday PCP. So if you did it and you're like, wait a minute, I just did the fall. You did the fall book. The enrollment ended Friday. The book is going to mail out August the 6th. That's the fall. Starting today, the enrollment for the holiday book is starting today through August 19th. You can enroll your customers again, 70 cents a name, and the holiday book is going to mail out September 6th. Now, you're like, oh my gosh, that's holiday. We're in the retail business. This is your first year in Mary Kay. Retail, you guys know the department store starts putting Christmas stuff out in September and October. Okay, so holiday book mails out September 6th. So you can now go ahead and start enrolling your customers for the holiday book. Winter book enrollment is September 16th through October 17th, and the winter book will mail out November 16th. And then we'll have a gap and it'll go into spring. But that's why these are back to back. I don't want anybody to get confused. It's because of that. We used to not have a holiday book, so we had that gap just like we do in, spring and summer and fall. Okay. So, but that is a way to keep your book. That's when the lookbook goes out. It has a sample, it has a note from you. You can't order those books and mail them yourself for less than, $2 to $2.50 now. Plus it has a sample. The company mails them to your customers for you for 70 cents. You go to the business tool, go to preferred customer program, and if you put your customer under my customers, then the preferred customer pulls that, and it's little, you go click, 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 and it adds up your total, and you pay with your debit card. And that's how you do the preferred customer program. And that's what builds that reorder business. So when you build to 100 customers, of customers like Kathy has, that was at this party where she's gone from a skincare class to a glamour class. Now, in a month or so, the reorders are going to start coming in. Boom, they got a book in the mail. Oh, I'm out of my Voluform kit. Boom, boom, boom. Imagine 100 customers that are on Mary Kay head to toe now. Your reorder business is going to be off the chain. And that's what we want to do. You can create a living with just sales. Okay. Now you want to build a team too, because that's your gravy, but our sales are amazing. This product is amazing. And that's what this is all about, is getting your customers Mary Kay head to toe and building to 100 customers as fast as you can. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. So if you guys have